I ordered some flowers, and I was able to do everything by talking to the CATIE.
When people don't have control over their own environments, you don't have a quality of life. It impacts your day-to-day living.
Knowing what's going on from an environmental standpoint, knowing what's going on from a social standpoint, it improves the quality of life, and CATIE, we really think, advances that cause.
I don't use my cell phone as much as the children would like me to. So I said, if you really want to get in touch with me, leave it on the CATIE.
We use an iPad, we use an iPhone, we use a computer, and we use the CATIE. And of all the four of them, CATIE is far and away the simplest one to navigate.
What we're really trying to do is meet a need that was going unmet. To have many people who are less comfortable with technology, and that's really the audience we're trying to work with here, is to make sure that they have something that they can be comfortable about that doesn't come across as a piece of technology.
You get up in the morning and you look at your CATIE and you say, well, today we got this at 2 o'clock and that at 1:30. We can't do both.
The way I most frequently use CATIE is to check on the menus so that we can decide which restaurant we'll use for the evening.
Food's important. The process of rolling out our menus in the past had to be done a week, 2 weeks in advance. Residents would have access to printed menus. Our residents now in their apartments can go directly to CATIE. They can see exactly what's on the menu. And if we had a farm or a fresh seafood vendor show up that day, we can edit that menu real time.
I was in a bind because unexpected people came and they were hungry. And I thought, what am I going to do? And all of a sudden I realized, well, I can just look at CATIE and look under restaurants and push the button, see what the menu is, and then all I have to do is push the button and get the Wolfman pizza. What could be better than using CATIE to do something like that?
The man in charge of the exercising program uses the CATIE a lot and gets his messages through to us, and that's great.
It's very accessible, and it's just a couple clicks of the button and you can put whatever information you want to and get it out of the residence.
We're a community, and if you're a community, you have something in common.
Social connections are one of the important reasons we're here.
Can I sit with you, Harvest?
It's hard to remember everybody's name. In fact, it's impossible to remember. You can simply press the CATIE and up comes the picture of John number 1. That's not the one. John number 2. Oh yeah, that's the one.
When I get lonely, I just come in here and look at pictures. This is my great-grandson, so I get updates on him. This one is Christmas, as you can see. But that's nice to be able to, because I don't get to see him too often. He doesn't live in town. We had a snowstorm a couple of months ago, and that's when I think people were really convinced of its value.
When people wake up, they see the snow and ice outside, immediately they start to wonder, how is this going to affect lunch? How's it going to affect dinner?
Residents want to know what they're supposed to do that day and where they're supposed to go.
I knew the real-time information would create a sense of security, that we'd always be able to let residents know what was going on. I could send emails out to our residents who didn't have to be computer savvy. They didn't have to have a PC in their apartment. They didn't have to be able to work Microsoft Outlook. They could simply see the pop-up email in their CATIE system.
It will say, due to the snow, dining services will be reduced today because we don't want our servers to be out on these slick roads.
Keeping people informed was one of the biggest differences, and that was made a lot easier with CATIE.
It's just made a world of difference in how we live.
If you're a senior living in independent living, your world is much smaller than if you were out in the community at large. So it's just a very natural flow to have a system that allows them to really be independent.
If you're smart, you look at your CATIE. It's the general philosophy of being able to see what I want when I want to.
It's not about technology. It's about outcomes. It's about the outcomes that make those people's lives more enriching, safer, and ultimately just more worth living.